Houston, Texas, the largest city in the Lone Star State, the fourth largest in the United States. And tonight it hosts a big Gold Cup Group B clash between a rising island nation that's been ambitiously building toward moments like these for years, and a country that feels it's time to stake its claim as the best team in Concacaf is right now. La Pantera Azul have spent the last decade recruiting from their rich Dutch-influenced diaspora to build a side that can reach the continental stage, while Les Rouges have a newfound swagger and belief that has them aspiring to a new era of continental supremacy and contention on a global scale. One needs a result to stay in position to advance. The other could potentially clinch the group with another victory tonight. The 2025 Concacaf Gold Cup continues as Shell Energy Stadium in Houston hosts Curaçao and Canada, live across the region and across the world. I'm Donnie Barnes. It is a very hot day in southeastern Texas, as you would expect in this part of the country at this time of year. Hot and humid. We are cooling slightly as we get into the evening hours, but still an atmosphere that will test endurance and will. And for these two sides over the next 90 minutes, positioning in Group B will be decided through two of the three matches in this group round. 89 degrees our match time temperature. The feels-like temperature was over 100 earlier today. The shadows, as you can see, partway across the field, but that far side will be in the sun, especially in this first half. So in Group B later tonight at this same venue, El Salvador and Honduras will play out a big Central American derby. Curaçao in danger of falling off the pace if they don't get some kind of result here tonight. As we take a look at the current standings, Canada a 6-0 win over Honduras in their first match. Curaçao and El Salvador played out a scoreless draw. So for Curaçao, they could be in a tough spot going into that final match day in Group B if they don't find a way to get something here today. And for Canada, depending on the outcome of that game later tonight, another 3 points for them today could see them not only into the quarterfinals, but also clinching the group victory. Mentioned Curaçao with the 0-0 against El Salvador in San Jose on Tuesday. They had chances, they just weren't able to finish as they remained winless in their history against El Salvador. But La Familia Azul now unbeaten in their last 8 matches overall. They've qualified for the final round of Concacaf World Cup qualifying, which will resume in September. A lot of excitement and optimism around this side back on the island. Similar to Suriname, it's a nation with deep historic ties to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. They've also begun to recruit their overseas-based eligible dual nationals much more aggressively over the past 2 decades. And they've invested in top-level coaches and names to helm their national side, from Goose Hiddink to Patrick Kluivert to current head coach Dick Advocaat. They are determined to become a force in CONCACAF. They have big dreams of reaching the World Cup for the first time ever this fall. It's their 3rd Gold Cup appearance, their first since 2019. And that year, they turned heads by making it out of the group and getting to the quarterfinals. And if they're going to equal that showing, it would sure help to pull off an underdog result here tonight, especially if there's a winner between El Salvador and Honduras later this evening. For Canada, after that impressive 6-0 hammering of Honduras in their opening game in Vancouver, this is a program that languished in perennial underachiever status for many decades, but they've increasingly awoken over the past handful of years. And after qualifying for their first FIFA World Cup since 1986 in the last cycle, they are, of course, automatically qualified for 2026 as one of the host nations. But especially since the appointment of Jesse Marsch last June, things have been on a strong upward trend. Of course, he took them on a memorable run to the Copa America semifinals last summer, then to the Nations League Final Four in March. And he has instilled a confidence and a fighting spirit in this team. Now they want to start adding trophies to that growth. And they see this tournament as a prime opportunity to do that. And with both the United States and Mexico looking somewhat unconvincing in some of their opening matches so far, some think that Canada might actually be the tournament favorites. We'll see. Their only Gold Cup title came in the year 2000. They also won the old CONCACAF Championship back in 1985. Other than that, it's a program and a nation that has always seemed to be a sleeping football giant, one that's rarely put it together into a trophy-winning side. But if they pick up another convincing win today, that belief that they can end that trophy drought and take that next step in their evolution into a regional power will continue to grow. Again, this is the first of 2 matches here in Houston tonight. with El Salvador and Honduras later this evening. But first, will it be La Familia Azul scoring one of their most impressive results in their nation's history, or will Canada reinforce their growing reputation? We'll hear the anthems of these two nations, then see starting 11s and kickoff. It's Curaçao and Canada in the 2025 Concacaf Gold Cup, and it is next.
Please rise for the national anthem of Curaçao. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Canada.
Will the Maple Leaf keep rising tonight, or will the Familia Azul come together for a huge result here in Houston, Texas? The first of a Gold Cup doubleheader this evening. As this excellent tournament, the 2025 edition, rolls on. Curaçao in their blue kits, Canada in the white with the red. Here's the starting 11 for Curaçao. 3 changes from their draw with El Salvador, with 36-year-old Eli Roon continuing in goal. Sherelle Floranis and Joshua Brennett both come in at the outside back positions. Livano Comenencia is a big prospect for Juventus' reserve team. The Bacuna brothers, Leandro and Juninho, will look to combine. Kenji Gore and Gerald Margarita are the wingers. Jurgen Locadia handed the start up front as Dick Advocat tries to mix up his attack today after they fired a blank in their opener. Here are our match officials for today. Juan Calderon is the center referee, assisted by Juan Carlos Mora and William Arrieta, all of Costa Rica. Stefan Duar of Jamaica is the 4th official. Jonathan David wearing the armband for Canada. Leandro Bacuna always does the same for Curaçao. Here's the VAR room for tonight. It is headed by Danian Parchment of Jamaica, assisted by Benjamin Pineda. Now the line lineup for Canada, who make 5 changes from their 6-0 win over Honduras. Dane St. Clair remains the starter in goal. Zorhan Basong and Kamal Miller come into the back line. Ismail Kone is back in the midfield for Canada, partnering Nathan Saliba. Jacob Schaffelberg back on one wing with Jaden Nelson on the other. Tani Oluwaseyi starts up top with Canada's all-time leading scorer, Jonathan David, behind him in the number 10 role and wearing the number 10 shirt. Mauro Biello is the interim head coach for Canada, with Jesse Marsh continuing to serve a 2-match suspension that he picked up in the 3rd place game at the Nations League finals in March. Final moments before kickoff here in very hot conditions in Houston. Question is, can Curaçao make this very hot for Canada, or will Canada breeze to another easy 3 points the way they did against Honduras? See, the shadows are almost halfway across the field. The ball itself still in sunlight for the next few minutes. Dane St. Clair might not see a lot of action today, but he'll be called on to make a big save or two, you suspect. Eloy Room will probably be busy for Curaçao. How effectively is the question. The countdown concludes as the opening whistle ready to be blown by Juan Calderon. And we are rolling in Houston, Texas. Curaçao seeking one of the biggest wins in their history. Canada wanting to take another big step toward the quarterfinals. It is a game where you expect Canada to have the vast majority of the possession, and can they be quick with it? They immediately try to release Schaffelberg down the left wing. Expect to see a lot of this from Canada. Schaffelberg always lightning quick on that flank. They want to try to whip in crosses. This is a throw for Curaçao. Good opening moments defending for them. Joshua Brennett, one of those who just came into the starting 11 for them today. And Dick Advocat changing up both his outside backs, feeling he didn't get enough in the attack against El Salvador. Many observers felt that once Joshua Brennett and Jurgen Locadia, who's starting up top, remember, once they came on as substitutes against El Salvador, Curaçao started to look a lot better in the attack. It just was a little too late. Canadian fans immediately chanting in support of Jesse Marsh. They may want to see him. They won't see him on the touchline again today. He has certainly instilled a lot of confidence in this Canadian team, and he and his staff have worked so hard to develop more depth. And it's not often that you see a team win 6-0 and then immediately make 5 changes for their next game. That's what they've done today, and they're trying to show off that depth. Now they have Jonathan David down as this play continues, and that's certainly concerning for Canada. Jonathan David, for all their increased depth, still arguably their most important player. Pawing at his mouth, maybe got a, well, let's see, yeah, elbow actually up into the jaw and the teeth. Came from Leandro Bacuna, the Curaçao captain, who wasn't looking at him. Gives a little apology afterward. Jonathan David, Canada's all-time leading scorer, 34 goals in only 65 appearances. He's been so effective for them. He can play either as the most advanced striker, or he can play in that creative midfield role as he's doing today. Instituting the press, which is something Jesse Marsh insists on, even when he's not on the touchline like today. Aggressive high-line press, a hallmark of Jesse Marsh's teams. There was in the English Premier League with Leeds United, in the Red Bull system. Here come Curaçao, their first attack. Can they cause chaos today? Bounces toward the edge of the 18-yard area, and it caroms off the Curaçao attacker and a goal kick. Kenji Gore, former Manchester United youth player, spent his whole youth upbringing in the Man United system. This is floated for Schaffelberg. Can he catch up? Hits the flag, and that works for Canada. It's a deep throw instead of a goal kick for Curaçao. There is Dick Advocat. 77 years old now, still doing it, still loving it. He's won titles in Holland with PSV Eindhoven back in the 90s, with Rangers in Scotland. Biggest achievement, arguably, winning the old UEFA Cup, now the Europa League with Zenit St. Petersburg. Also won the European Super Cup a few months after that, back in 2008. Strong tackle from Nathan Saliba, who keeps his starting place in the midfield. Just his 5th appearance for Canada. Scored his first Canadian goal against Honduras a few days ago. Just 21 years old, plays for CF Montreal in MLS. One of the interesting subplots in this game, how much can Canada keep up that pressing intensity in these hot conditions? Especially those players playing on the far side of the pitch in this first half. In that direct sunlight, not easy. First touch for Eloy Room, 36 years old, plays for Cercle Bruges in Belgium. Over 60 caps for Curaçao, and their starting goalkeeper for quite a while. There's that Canadian press. Curaçao handling it fairly well in these first 5 minutes. Even though it's only their 3rd Gold Cup appearance, Curaçao have had some good moments in their first couple. More on that in a bit, but Canada win it back. And it's Saliba looking for a way through these blue ranks. Chooses to take the safe option. Back to Kamal Miller. Plays for Portland Timbers in MLS. He's approaching 50 appearances for Canada. This is number 49 today. Curaçao, though, in their first appearance in 2017, they lost 2-0 to Mexico in the group stage, but they played really well. There is Mauro Biello. He has had a long playing career. Now he's been in the Canadian coaching setup for quite a while. Played for the Montreal Impact before they were in MLS for many years. Now known, of course, as CF Montreal. Was the interim head coach for Canada for a while in 2023 and early 2024. And he was in charge for their win in the Copa America play-in game against Trinidad and Tobago last March. That was such a huge win for this program. Here's Schaffelberg now, tucking inside and unleashing with the left foot. It was blocked. Canada looked to reset quickly. But that Canada win against Trinidad and Tobago to qualify them for Copa America last summer, so massive because they then went on that excellent run all the way to the semifinals. Jesse Marsh's first handful of games in charge, and that gave this program so much momentum and good feeling that they've continued since. And now Schaffelberg, first touch takes him to the end line. Schaffelberg off the challenge. It is a free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card as well for Leandro Bacuna. He's claiming he got the ball, but he goes into the book in just the 8th minute. This was the skill along the touchline. Did he keep that in play, Ismail Kone? All the Curaçao players were claiming that went out. Well, he does get the ball, Bacuna, but he went in with 2 feet, and I think that's why the referee gave both the foul and the card. So an interesting free kick for Canada along that end line, just outside the 18. Essentially a very short corner. Eloy Room having to look into that setting sun. Not easy at all for a goalkeeper. Tough to shoot directly on goal from this kind of angle. Tricky one to defend, though, as well. Gerald Margarita being instructed by Juan Calderon. So will it be Jaden Nelson? Jacob Schaffelberg was standing around it. Now he's left it for Nelson. Schaffelberg now standing short along the edge of that 18. He's in a lot of space, too. A little surprised Curaçao are leaving Schaffelberg unmarked, number 14 for Canada. So what does Nelson do? He flips it to the top of the 6-yard box, headed up in the air, and then hit into the corner, and Canada score. Nathan Saliba for a second straight game. And the red train is rolling again. 6 in their opener, and 1 inside 10 minutes today. So the set piece pays off for Canada. It came from the second phase, and the second international goal for 21-year-old Nathan Saliba. Curaçao dealt with the first one. It's such a good leave by Zorhan Basong. Right here, he's thinking about the overhead kick, and then he leaves it to his teammate, and it's met so well by Nathan Saliba. That's not easy when you have a teammate rushing out toward you to keep your focus and hit that first time right out of the sky and bury it in the corner. That is such a good finish. And Saliba having a breakout tournament and showcasing more of this developing depth for Canada. Well, just what Curaçao probably felt they couldn't afford, conceding that early goal. Canada were incensed that that throw was given the other direction, but they have exactly the start they were hoping for. Canada widely expected to win this game. Curaçao certainly have quality, but Canada much deeper, much broader talent pool, despite Curaçao opening up so much of that Dutch diaspora over the last handful of years. Now this direction has changed, and it is a Canada throw on that far side. Jaden Nelson cushioned the header, and now another Canada free kick. Curaçao giving these set pieces away. Paid the price a couple minutes ago, and they'll have to defend another one now. So this time it'll be Schaffelberg potentially to whip it in with the left foot. It is. Now he runs over it and leaves it for Nelson. The near post, it was flicked by David. Now heads it back across the face of goal. Curaçao scramble it clear this time. It's clever from Jonathan David to flick that along. Nelson trying to backheel it all the way through to Eloy Room. Canada the overwhelming favorites, not just in this game, but in this group. El Salvador and Honduras, the other two teams in it. People expected Canada to beat Honduras in their opener, but not by 6 goals. Honduras, a team that can be difficult, of course. Proven that many times over the years. Flag is up here for offside. There's Jesse Marsh watching from high above. He's brought that swagger to this Canadian program that many felt they were lacking, even though they were already on an upward trend over previous years. They had fallen into a bit of a rut after that 2022 World Cup. It was such a stirring moment for them to get there, but then losing all 3 games at it. Canada looking for number 2. Here's Jonathan David, and then hit with the right by Ismail Kone. It's deflected out. It is a corner for Canada. So they've had a couple set pieces. This will be their first corner of the match. Nelson involved early. David wanted to get out of his feet for a hit himself, I think. Ended up falling to Kone. Those two both play in France. Kone with Rennes. Jonathan David has played for Lille for many years. Won a surprise Ligue 1 title with them. The only year PSG haven't won it in the last decade plus. Jaden Nelson's corner delivery all the way through to the back post and out. All about Nathan Saliba, though, and his opening goal. Watch this hit. This is such good technique. And he's coming just into the sunlight, too, as he hits that. So going from shadow into sun with the teammate racing out toward you. Again, credit to Zorhan Basong for leaving the ball and letting his teammate hit it, but it's still really tough to do that. So that's where all that training, all those hours of extra work after training, taking volleys, practicing hits like that, that's where it all pays off in a game. Can Curaçao find some kind of response? Not here. Oh, it's an excellent tackle. There was a little kick out afterward by Margarita. He's fortunate he didn't make contact. And then Schaffelberg was not reached with that pass. It's a Curaçao throw, but Canadian dominance over the first 15 minutes. Well, first the tackle. Watch this kick out by Margarita. That's not great. And if he'd made contact, it would have been a card. And boy, they had something on there, Curaçao. 3 runners, including Margarita down the right. And the ball forward, not good enough. It's the first time Canada have gotten caught in transition. And that is sometimes a vulnerability for Canada. As exciting as their high press, high line system is under Jesse Marsh, that is how it can sometimes be beaten. If you win that ball in the middle of the park and catch them in transition before they can race back from that high line. It's the kind of thing Curaçao will be trying to do today. But you have to execute once you get them in that situation, and they did not there. Canada now on the edge of the box. Jaden Nelson, always so recognizable. Here come Curaçao now. They have plenty of speed through the middle, but Kuna lays it off on the right, and this time finds Margarita, who tries to slice in between two and does win a free kick. And this will be the first attacking set piece of the day for Curaçao. Ismail Kone, one of those involved, along with Basong. Well, it's very standard soccer wisdom, but anytime you're a big underdog in a match, you always have to make the most of your set piece opportunities. And Curaçao have one now in the 17th minute. Juninho Bacuna has played for Rangers in Scotland, played for Birmingham City in England, also Huddersfield Town in the Premier League when they were at England's top level. He's had a mercurial career, lots of talent, hasn't always been consistent or put it together. Can he deliver something good here? He does, and it's a save by Sinclair. Dane Sinclair touching it over the bar. Curaçao do create from the set piece. It's very tight on the offside line. It's a good headed ball on frame. And it was the other Bacuna, Leandro, his brother. The brothers almost connected there to level the match. Leandro, the captain of this squad, 33 years old, 6 years older than Juninho. Leandro, of course, you may remember from his days at Aston Villa. Now playing in Holland. So it's Juninho to take the corner. Whips this one in on top of goal, and another free header, and it's put well wide. Poor contact by Rashawn van Eyma. And Canada get away with not one, but 2 subpar pieces of set-piece defending and keep their lead. I mean, van Eyma is 5 yards out. He gets up between the 2 center backs, does everything right, maybe the ball just slightly behind him when he makes contact and not close to the frame. So that's cause for some concern from Mauro Biello. Everything else Canada have done in these opening 20 minutes has been great, but that was not their best sequence. Now they combine down the right, floating it long, but too long. Nico Sigur, who scored his first goal for Canada in that opener against Honduras. Also just 21 years old. So Canada showcasing not just their increasing depth, but how much young talent they have in the pipeline, starting to make an impact at the first team level now. It's one of the ways this program is different than it used to be. Canada usually have had at least one or two very talented, maybe even world-class players at a time. The problem has been what they've had behind those couple. But now, developing quality up and down that roster. And even though they've been dark horses coming into this tournament, everybody always talks about Mexico and the United States entering a Gold Cup, with good reason, since they're the two that have won it almost every time over the last 2 decades. But with Canada's improvement, you have to respect their chances to win this tournament too. They certainly are demanding that respect these days. We're over 20 minutes gone now in Houston. Dane St. Clair will claim this. Canada have claimed the lead thanks to the goal from Nathan Saliba. Zohan Basong plays for Sporting Kansas City in MLS. This is just his 5th Canadian cap. Oh, Jonathan David, not a good challenge. Free kick Curaçao. He was very late there with that tackle, David. Levano Comenencia, who's the arguably brightest young talent on this Curaçao team. He gets crunched there long after the ball was gone. David just whacks him across the shin. He's a little fortunate not to get carded for that. Comenencia, we mentioned when we were telling you about the starting 11s, he plays for Juventus. Now, he hasn't broken through to the first team yet. He's playing with their reserves. But quite impressive for Curaçao. And it's an indication of the kind of talent they're attracting now with their recruiting efforts across the globe. Finding those players with eligibility, with dual national status. To find a guy who's in Juventus's system and is well regarded by Juventus. Quite impressive. They have numbers here in the attack. There's space on the left side. Dancing on the edge of the sunshine and flipping it in front and right between 2 attackers and out. And Curaçao knocking on the door. They burst through that Canadian midfield and they had them in transition. It was Kenji Gore who clipped it onto his right and then whipped it across. Yeah, Joshua Brennett making a run from that backline area. Brennett actually went a little too early. The ball just behind him. Margarita was crashing in at the back stick and it was ahead of him. That's encouraging for Curaçao. They do have quality. They do have the ability to hurt Canada. I wondered if they would fade quickly from this game after conceding in the 9th minute. They've responded well since. Midway through this first half. Simple ball for St. Clair to take. Dane St. Clair been a standout at Minnesota United for the last few years. He's been in a battle for the #1 shirt with this Canadian national side with Maxime Crépeau. Crépeau played in Copa America last summer, did very well, but Jesse Marsh was insistent throughout that tournament and immediately afterward that it was still an open battle. And St. Clair has seemed to claim the shirt since then. Canada without two of their major talents at this tournament. Alphonso Davies, of course, their most famous player with Bayern Munich. He's out with a long-term injury. Stefan Eustáquio plays for Porto, also injured and unavailable. Canada intending to show that they can win trophies even without those two stars. They're certainly off to a great start. Now this is Schaffelberg floating it in back post. Game just settling for a moment. It's not something you see with Canada that often these days. They always want to press, always want to be playing at that high tempo. Crunching tackle on that far side. This field is so well mic'd up, you can hear every coming together as we pass the 25-minute mark. Free kick, Curaçao. Kamal Miller fouling that time. Kamal Miller, son of Jamaican and Trinidadian parents in Scarborough, Canada, a suburb of Toronto. You see the shots, 3 for each, 1 on target for each. The only difference is Canada's shot on target was buried in the corner by Nathan Saliba. Curaçao, 2 good chances from back-to-back set pieces about 10 minutes after that. Have to take your chances when you're a big underdog. They didn't do it on that sequence. How many more will they get today is the question. Can they keep Canada from adding to this lead? Jonathan David. And now Ismail Kone bending it in. It's a good-looking cross. It's over the head of one and past another, but you see the thumbs go up immediately. First, Tani Oluwaseyi, who I think was the primary target. Jaden Nelson was also crashing into the backside. We're gonna have a cooling break now, which is certainly needed on a day like this. So a fascinating opening 26 minutes. Canada taking the lead early on the second phase from a set piece. Curaçao responding well. Still very much in this game past the midway point of the first half, with El Salvador and Honduras to come later tonight. See a look at this beautiful stadium in Houston, home of the Houston Dynamo of Major League Soccer, of course, and the Houston Dash of the NWSL. Here's the goal. And Curaçao dealt with the first ball, but not the second. And Saliba, I know I've raved about the technique a ton already, but you just can't stop watching it. He makes it look so simple, but if you've ever tried doing that on a soccer pitch, you know that's very difficult, especially coming from shadow into sun like that. Keep your eye on the ball to not be concerned about running headlong into your teammate, which is a real danger in a spot like that. A blend of fearlessness and technique that results in a high-quality opening goal for Canada today. Canadian fans making the trip. It's been quite a trip for Canada. Of course, played their first group game in Vancouver a few days ago, then the long flight from the Pacific Northwest down to Southeast Texas. And they'll stay here and play their third group match here as well, should they qualify for the quarterfinals, which they are expected to do, but certainly haven't done yet. Don't yet know where they would be sent. Calderon with a few words before we resume after that cooling break. Off we go again. Eloy Room with the goal kick. Talked a lot about Jesse Marsh instituting this pressing, aggressive system for Canada. Dick Advocaat has done much the same for Curaçao. They're not exactly the same kind of system, but similar idea. Curaçao want to press as well. They want to win the ball back high up the pitch. Very difficult to do that against a team like Canada, of course, but when they're playing lesser opposition in Concacaf, we've seen them do it very effectively. I mentioned they're unbeaten in their last 8 coming into this one. Their last World Cup qualifying game in that second round of CONCACAF qualifying a couple weeks ago, a hugely impressive 5-1 win over Haiti, who also had already qualified for that next round, but were just blown away by Curaçao. And Curaçao's press specifically gave Haiti all kinds of problems in that game. This is blocked out of play by Kone. Pressing high for Canada. So half an hour played in Houston. Saliba in the 9th minute, separating the sides to this point. Curaçao free kick on the halfway line. Shadows creeping toward that far touchline as we go through this first half. Nico Sigor grew up in Vancouver, actually. Was a Vancouver Whitecaps fan, and he was a ball boy for them for a while. He watched the likes of Alphonso Davies up close as a ball boy before Davies started making those high-profile moves. Here come Curaçao now. It's Margarita dancing on this right wing up against 3 white and red shirts, and that was a tall task. Margarita, though, very dangerous for Curaçao. He scored 5 goals in just 13 games. He's had 5 assists as well. He's been a very effective winger for them. First touch was very good before Schaffelberg almost bundled him into the bench. Another free kick for Curaçao. Kenji Gore feeling that's a few fouls now against Sigor and that he should be booked. We've had just the 1 card so far. That was shown to Leandro Bacuna. That was the free kick that led to Canada's goal. Jonathan David and Leandro Bacuna both being spoken to about something by Juan Calderon. Now it's coming over to the 4th official. Yeah, so we're not sure exactly what the issue was for Juan Calderon. Now we're hearing there might be a fan in the stands who's blowing a whistle that was confusing some of the players, perhaps. That appeared to be, from what we're told, what Juan Calderon was discussing. Wrestling on that far side. It's going to be another free kick for Curaçao. Joel Waterman claiming his hands were behind his back, but when you see this replay, maybe he's claiming that Cherel Floranis also had his hands around him. I think that's what he was saying, but not sure he can complain too much after that little wrestling maneuver. So Curaçao attacking free kick, and remember, Canada struggled to defend the 2 set pieces that Curaçao previously had in this first half. They were fortunate not to concede from either one. Juninho Bacuna whips it in with the right, and this one better defended. Maybe not quite as well taken either. Nico Sigor able to clear. Now the press, and Kone wins it back. It's 3v1 for Canada. Kone plays it early, and the one who is back for Curaçao makes the saving tackle. It's Sherelle Floranis, who was able to block the cross. Otherwise, Canada had two racing unimpeded on goal. Probably would have made it 2-0. Waterman advancing now. Sigor, his cross in, intended for Tani Oluwaseyi. Kept from going out for a corner. Whipped up the field by Van Ima. Turned over to Canada again. Kone cutting into the shadows. Has the runner down the left side and uses him. That's Bassong. Bassong turns to the goal line, does really well. Sits the defender down. And then cut it back inside. Now up against Brennett again, who's gotten back to his feet. Well, he had Brennett beaten. Basically allowed Brennett to get back in the play. Ten minutes and change left in the half. Waterman able to ghost past one and keeps on going and slips it through to Oluwaseyi, who's denied by Eloy Room with a massive save to keep Curaçao in this. And they look to race away on the counter. Big foot race here. And back to win it was Bassong, and he was fouled. And a free kick for Canada. Great sequence. Here's the foul on Margarita, as Bassong was able to beat him to the ball. This is the moment for Canada. Waterman allowed to advance so far up the field. It's a great slip-through ball for Oluwaseyi, who scored against Honduras. Had a great chance to score again there, but Eloy Room coming out, cutting down the angle, making the save with the right shin. Now Kone after this tries to keep it in, cannot. Goal kick, Curaçao. Still just the one for Canada. Mauro Biello would love to see them grab a second before halftime to settle things down. Because although they've been close to that second a few times, we've seen Curaçao, the danger they can pose when they're able to run on the counterattack. It's a good ball out of the back there. And then they turn it over on the midway line, and Waterman to David. Saliba. Deft switch with the feet. Jonathan David flipping it for Schaffelberg. Schaffelberg, first time ball. And he blasts it over and out. Schaffelberg plays for Nashville SC in Major League Soccer. Stick Advocat looks on. He's seen a lot in his 77 years, and most of them have been spent in football. Curaçao, before he arrived, Dick Advocat, were playing more of a passive possession-based style. He has insisted that they push up and press, take the game to the opposition in a different way. Curaçao have been very exciting to watch because of that. And we've seen that in a few flashes today. Again, you're not going to be able to high press nearly as much when you're big underdogs against a team like Canada. But it has made them much more difficult to play against. This is a free kick. Referee waited to make sure there wasn't an advantage, and now pulls it back for that foul on Schaffelberg. Schaffelberg just runs over Joshua Brennett. It's a chippy game. Lots of fouls, lots of elbows, lots of shoves. Canada's free kick now. Calderon's going to have to try to keep a lid on this. Always easy for tempers to get out of hand, especially on a hot day like this. Players' patience thinner than usual in these kind of conditions. Closing in on halftime. Looped ball intended for the run of Basong, but not able to catch up this time. Canada, two-time champions of Concacaf, if you include the old Concacaf Championship, which they won in 1985. They are one of the only teams besides Mexico and the United States to win the Gold Cup. In the modern Gold Cup era, they did that back in the year 2000. David hunting this, and he wins it. Jonathan David onto it. He has two racing into the box. David looks, David clips. He was intending it for Jaden Nelson. It was blocked out for a throw. We're into the final 5 of the first half. Floranis, possibly his second goal-saving block of this first half. It's going to loop past Schaffelberg and out for another goal kick. This was Jonathan David winning that ball a moment ago. It took a moment to make up his mind what to do, and Floranis was able to recover by then. Kone flipping it to himself. Looks to get turned on Margarita and does. It's great skill from Kone. And it's kept alive by Canada for David, who looks to slip in. Jaden Nelson and just missed. Well, if Curaçao could get this to halftime only down by a goal, they wouldn't mind that. Especially conceding so early. Always a concern when you're a big underdog that you're just going to get swamped right away. Hasn't happened. Waterman tracking this. I think he thought St. Clair was going to come claim it. Chose to stab it up in the air, and then the wrestling match between Miller and Jurgen Locadia. Miller being warned by Juan Calderon after doing this. Brennan's attacking throw. Chested by Locadia, who now wins the loose ball and stabs it back. Looking for somebody in blue. Bacuna keeps it alive. And now the square ball, and there's some space to step into it. Floranis slips it through. It's a good chance. It's just wide. Locadia was all alone. Tried to tuck it inside that post. They have to capitalize on those moments, Curaçao. They were so nearly level before the half. Floranis, so much space. Everybody thought he was going to shoot. Instead, the deft little pass wasn't the best first touch from Locadia. Got it stuck a little bit, carried him wide, but then he tried to cut it back to the far side. It was the right idea. Just scuffed across it too much with the ankle. And you see about a foot away. Both sides claiming this. It's Canada's throw. And now Schaffelberg in a coming together with Bacuna. It's Juninho face to face with Schaffelberg. What'd you say to me? Juan Calderon trying to calm the situation. Neither of these teams content to just coast to halftime. Bacuna thought it was their throw, then found out it wasn't, didn't like it, wouldn't give Schaffelberg the ball. Schaffelberg took exception. song as old as time. Jacob Schaffelberg, of course, from Nova Scotia, from a small town in maritime Nova Scotia. He's the first player ever from that province in Canada to become a professional soccer player. He moved to Massachusetts with his parents when he was 15 years old to pursue that dream. Here go Curaçao now. Can they create something again before the half? And it's behind Margarita, who is making the opposite run. We're going to have 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Curaçao continue to show in fleeting moments when they're able to catch Canada in transition. They have danger if they can pick the right pass. They didn't do it that time. Schaffelberg. What a flick that was, but well, his teammates able to clean it up afterward too. David with a couple shieldings of the ball does very well. Uses that big frame so effectively, whether it's in the attacking third, in the penalty box, or in the midfield where he's dropped now. That's why he's such a weapon. Now hit long for the run of Schaffelberg. Eli Room, though, is there to claim. We're into those 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Now Curaçao try the long one. Margarita tries to flick it along, and Locadia, well, it was not convincing from Basong, but he got enough on it with the side of his foot to at least take it wide away from Margarita's run. And now Curaçao is stretched, and the through ball releases Oluwaseyi. Tani Oluwaseyi goes for the far post. Not sure if he was trying to shoot or cross for the onrushing Jonathan David. It's out for a Canada corner. Couldn't quite get it settled initially, Oluwaseyi. Tiring first half in these hot conditions. Have to keep your concentration all the way to the end of the period. Canada with a chance to test Curaçao's concentration now from this set piece. Jaden Nelson plays for Vancouver Whitecaps. Dynamic winger, he's had a great season so far. Lifts this in, flicked away. David watches it go out for a Canada throw. Final 90 seconds of the half. Canada looking like they're going to take one of these long throws into the penalty box. Well, David showing short to give that option, and now takes the throw short. Tries to return it. It's going to be another corner. So Canada spending stoppage time deep in Curaçao territory. Corners and throws. Trying to create daylight and separation right before the break. Schaffelberg will drive this in with his left. From the setting sunshine into the shadows, and on top of goal. It was touched by Room, not convincingly, but he got enough on it for now. Waterman keeping it alive by the touchline. Is it down the line for Saliba? Gets the cross in. Loose on the edge of the box. That was a dangerous challenge from Bakuna under the circumstances, risking giving away a penalty, but he won the challenge crucially. Eli Room, that was not the greatest punch, but good enough under the circumstances. Final seconds now of the half. Curaçao just want to end it and get to the Room down 1. And they do exactly that as Juan Calderon blows for halftime. Fascinating first half. Canada the heavy favorites and looked like it with a 9th-minute goal from Nathan Saliba, one of those bright young promising talents for them. That promise coming true already. The 21-year-old, goals in back-to-back games now. You thought Canada might run away and hide from there. Not the case. Curaçao hung in well, had a couple really good chances too. And so it's still well poised as we head for half number 2 in Houston. After 45 sweltering, sweaty minutes here at Shell Energy Stadium. It is Canada 1, Curaçao 0. Here are the numbers from the first half. 4 shots each. It's a bit surprising, Canada and Curaçao. With Curaçao, it's proof that they were able to hang in. 2 on target for Canada, 1 in the back of the net. Only 1 card that was shown to Leandro Bacuna early on. 55% possession for Le Rouge. Curaçao would have taken those numbers for the first 45 if you'd offered them to them at the start of the game. We'll see our highlights from the first half in just a moment. Really interesting first 45 between 2 teams that really like to press, like to go at it, and they did. And Curaçao were able to stay with Canada for long stretches. Canada expected to win this game comfortably. It's never going to be comfortable conditions here in Houston in the middle of the summer. Canada started well, and they won a free kick in the 9th minute. It was the card as well that was shown to Bacuna, and it was the set piece that would lead to Canada's goal. Taken initially by Jaden Nelson, the initial ball was partially cleared, but then as it fell to earth, it was slammed into the corner. Wonderful technique by Nathan Saliba, the CF Montreal 21-year-old, who shows such good technique to wait for it to come down and hit it true, and gave Canada the advantage. Curaçao almost punched back 10 minutes later. This was a wonderful delivery, and the header from Leandro Bacuna after the service from his brother Juninho. Bacuna put it right on frame, but Dane St. Clair able to get up quickly and push it over the bar. And a couple minutes later, they were in down the left, Curaçao, and it would be whipped right across the face of goal, right between the 2 attackers. Nobody able to make that telling touch for Curaçao. Canada pressed for that 2nd goal. Joel Waterman was able to make a lot of progress and then slipped the through ball to Tani Oluwaseyi. Denied at close range by Eloy Room. Massive save by the Curaçao goalkeeper to keep his side within 1. Curaçao, though, kept pushing, and shortly before the break, it was a chance for Jurgen Locadia, who put his shot just wide of the near post. Locadia made the good run. First touch wasn't great, but then the idea was correct to try to hook it inside that far post. Not quite able to do it, so Canada leading, but only by a goal at the break.
Tocando el cielo. Hoy vuelve a empezar esa promesa que se vive y se siente. Sueños de final, todo en silencio mientras grita la gente. Oh, un sueño en la mano, nunca le bajamos. Por amor corremos, por amor jugamos. Los pies en el suelo y el cielo en la mano. El continente entero sabe que aquí estamos. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Manos arriba, pies en el suelo, dando la vida, tocando el cielo. Manos arriba, pies en el suelo, dando la vida, tocando el cielo. party, rockin' the party, dance everybody, fiesta. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Tú y yo tocando el cielo con las manos. Manos arriba, pies en el suelo, dando la vida, tocando el cielo. Manos arriba, pies en el suelo, dando la vida, tocando el cielo. Hey. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Dando la vida, tocando el cielo.
Back for the start of the second half between Curaçao and Canada. On a hot evening in Houston, Texas. Canada with the lead thanks to a 9th-minute goal from Nathan Saliba. No changes for either team coming out of the break. Really competitive first half. Curaçao showed well after conceding early on the second phase from a set piece. It was such a good finish by Saliba. Just 21 years old, has scored his second Canadian international goal. Canada will get things back underway as they kick off, going from left to right in this second half. As referee Juan Calderon blows the whistle, and off we go again in Houston. Can Canada build on that lead and salt away another 3 points and put themselves on the doorstep of the quarterfinals? Can Curaçao continue to hang in and maybe grab something and grab what would be one of the biggest results in their nation's history today? They came so close to scoring a few times in that first half. You have to be opportunistic in a game like this. They really weren't. Will they get more chances in this second 45, or will Canada pull away? It's Curaçao starting on the attack here down the left side with Kenji Gore. And Gore motors to the end line. Gore defended pretty well by Nico Sigur. Now tries to tuck it inside and does. It's Floranis. And Floranis tries to slip it infield. Gore has stayed down looking for a foul. They don't get it. And Curaçao get the ball back. And Gore's back up. And on we go. And it's Floranis who's drifted wide left. In low for Gore. Looks to get faced. And Gore tries to cross. He slips. Can't get back to his feet with the ball. And now gives away the free kick. Frantic start to the second half. Curaçao starting on the front foot. Kenji Gore wasn't able to get involved in the attack too much in the first 45. Immediately involved coming out of halftime, and a little over-involved at the end. Dane St. Clair will take this free kick for Canada. He had one big save to make in the first half and did it very well. Saving that point-blank header from Leandro Bacuna from a set piece that was so well taken by Curaçao. Trying to shield this out of play and taking the contact and the foul was Rashawn Van Eyma. Van Eyma plays for Walwick in Holland. Again, many of these Curaçao players based in Holland. Curaçao have been coached by a few Dutch legends over the last decade plus. Mentioned in our open, Guus Hiddink has coached this side. Frank Rijkaard. Now Dick Advocaat. Saw Mauro Biello, the interim head coach for Canada, with Jesse Marsh still suspended for this game. But here come Canada now as Kone tucks in, and Ismail Kone drags it back onto his right, tries to poke it through for Oluwaseyi. Maybe a little over elaborate in the end. Curaçao look to break, can't do it. That's a crucial touch to prevent that by Saliba. Kone was tricky here, and then tricky again. He was trying to slip it inside for Oluwaseyi, who had moved in the other direction. It's a great battle in the middle of the park. It results in a Curaçao free kick. Could have given that against Saliba or against Sigur. Schavelberg almost intercepted that, puts it out for a throw instead. Part of what's made this game so good so far is the fact that both these teams like to press, and Canada are so committed to that press that they will gamble. They will play that high line, even against an opponent they're expected to beat, and that's a dangerous ball out, but it's well executed. It's exactly the kind of ball that Canada want you to try to play out from the back, but Curaçao made it work for now. They're still hemmed in deep. But Curaçao committed to playing out themselves, and they win a throw. That's the kind of style that Dick Advocaat has implemented since taking over. Now they look for a foul, and they get one on the halfway line. It's going to be the first card of the day for Canada as well. Kamal Miller. And again, that's where that Canadian high line can get them in trouble. When you beat them over the top like that, Miller felt he didn't have a choice. He had to pull back Jürgen Locadia, otherwise Locadia was going to race away. Now it's Canada using their speed. Schaffelberg, can he get to that? Not quite. That was crucial from Jurian Gari, one of the center backs, plays in Saudi Arabia. Kone now lifts it into the middle. Goalkeeper stays on his line. Had to be dealt with by Floranis and was. It's a good first touch by Gore. Gore now able to race up the pitch, and it's opening up for him, and Gore tries to slip it down the middle. Canada should deal with that, and they do. Game is so open, though, through the midfield. Great to watch for us. Concerning if you're a head coach, I'm sure. Curaçao not backing down an inch. Floranis. Games like this show how competitive CONCACAF is getting. As nations like Curaçao, better and better every year. But they're caught here. This is 3v2. Jonathan David, can he pick the right ball? It's Jaden Nelson now. Back to David. David scuffs it out to the left and didn't get enough on it. Schaffelberg tries to win it and cannot. Scrappy and frantic and great entertainment, and now it's wide open again for Nelson, and Nelson cuts in. Jaden Nelson tries to slip it for the late runner Segur and got it wrong. Goal kick. It's just great to watch, though. The first 6.5 minutes of this second half have felt like 20. There's been incident after incident. This was a great tackle on Schaffelberg by Gari. There's just so much speed all over the pitch for both these teams. And there's so much commitment to play a pretty risky style by both teams. It's a terrific combination for us neutrals. See the whole playing surface more or less in the shadows now. Still a little bit of that sunlight filtering through the opening on the near side of the stadium. But more comfortable conditions for the players now, not having to deal with that direct sun anymore. Still hot, still humid, still tiring, especially the kind of game as physical as this game has been. Long switch of play. Canada readying Ali Ahmed. He's going to be coming on shortly, it appears. That'll be the first change of the match for either team. Kone now dueling number 8s. Who did that go off last? It's Comanencia who puts it out. Schaffelberg thought he was going to get a continuation of the run from Zorhan Basong. This was the battle a moment ago between Basong and Margarita. Well, he has to be happy with how his team are hanging in this game. Take on Vacat. Acknowledged in his pre-match interview, getting a result today would certainly be difficult, but they would certainly give it everything. He said it'll be a good measuring stick for us to see how far we've come. Canada free kick. They're about ready to make that change. They don't yet. Schaffelberg was making the run, but that was read and sniffed out. Basong, Kone, allowed to advance. Nelson. Segur. It's a good turn by Saliba. Margarita got the foot in the way briefly, but it still broke for Basong, who serves it into the box, and Kone was up for it. Trying to prevent the corner now. And they do. It's a goal kick. Now that change about to arrive for Canada. Not just yet. Basong. And again, little pocket to come forward. Jonathan David, deft flick for Nelson. Couldn't really take it down. Can Curaçao create on the counter? Decent ball infield for Juninho. Gore wanted the return ball, went to the opposite side instead, and that's a waste for Curaçao. So it was behind Margarita from Comanencia. 10 minutes into the second half. Now that change for Canada. Jaden Nelson will come off. Ali Ahmed. One Vancouver Whitecaps player replaces his club teammate. One winger replaces the other.
Hey, number 11, this way.
17th Canada appearance for Ali Ahmed. He's yet to score for them. This was the opportunity to break a moment ago for Curaçao. Curaçao are going to make a double change at the next stoppage. Canada hunting that ball down in the corner, just on the pitch. Ahmed able to win it. Now what can he create? Tries to turn the corner, wins a free kick. That's the answer for now. Set piece for Canada. And a yellow card as well to Floranis. Floranis going through the back of his calf with the studs. It was the back foot that got him in the challenge. Curaçao might wait until the next stoppage to make that double change. You usually don't like to shuffle things right before you defend a set piece. Ahmed staying down a long time for Canada. Yeah, really got crunched there. It's just above the Achilles too. So can Curaçao stay within a goal before they make this double change? They're going to send a couple attacking players onto the pitch. Godfrey Romerito and Jeremy Antonisa. But first they have to deal with this Canadian set piece, with Schaffelberg and Saliba around it, along with Ahmed. Canada's goal came from the second phase of a free kick in the first half, remember. That was in the 9th minute. Saliba scored it. Will it be Schaffelberg's or Saliba's this time? Saliba raises the hands, runs over it. Schaffelberg hits it, and Eloy Room punches to the edge of the box, taken by Kone. Steps over it once, checks back onto his right, and angles it back in over everyone's head. Goal kick for Curaçao. Strong punch this time by Room. Kone didn't want that on his left foot. Here's that change for Curaçao now. Antonisa replaces Gerald Margarita. So there will be no margarita party on a Saturday night for Curaçao this evening in Houston. Antonisa plays in Portugal. Now Godfrey Romerito comes on for the captain, Leandro Bacuna. Romerito, born in the Netherlands, from Indonesian descent. Almost an hour played in Houston. Still just the one goal for Canada. They've led since the 9th minute. Curaçao able to press through that challenge and create something down the right. They wanted a free kick. Juan Calderon not interested. Now 60 gone, 30 to go. Second game in the group phase in Group B for both these sides. Canada won their opener 6-0 over Honduras. Curaçao drew 0-0 with El Salvador, so they haven't scored at this tournament yet. They're going to have to score today if they're to get something from this match as the underdogs. Could that happen here? It's the substitute anthems onto this for the first time against two white and red shirts who deal with it well. Now it's put out of play, with Ali Ahmed down again for Canada and maybe still feeling the after effects of that challenge a couple minutes ago. Concerning for him, for Canada, and for the Vancouver Whitecaps, for whom Ahmed has had a great season so far. Vancouver, of course, making that magical run all the way to the Concacaf Champions Cup final, defeating Lionel Messi and Inter Miami decisively in the semifinal over 2 legs by 5-1. And it does not appear that Ali Ahmed is going to be able to continue in this game. Mauro Biello, who had just put Ahmed on a few minutes ago, is going to have to sub for him almost immediately. This was the challenge. This was right after Ahmed got on. It's that back foot from Floranis that cuts through the back of his calf, upper ankle. We're certainly not doctors, I'm not going to pretend to be, but anytime you get studs or a shoe anywhere near that Achilles area, you're always worried. That would certainly change Canada's plan. So Canada are going to make 2 changes. Tajon Buchanan will be one of those coming on. Alistair Johnston is going to be the other. Another Canadian player down, that's Joel Waterman. What happened to Waterman here? I think he just gets stepped on by Juninho Bacuna. Ali Ahmed having that right ankle taped. The fact that he was able at least to walk off under his own power, although he was certainly hobbling significantly, that at least would seem to be a good sign for his long-term prognosis, but obviously not able to continue tonight. They haven't made those changes yet, Canada, so they're playing with 10 for the moment. Canada are actually going to make 3 changes. They're also going to bring on Mathieu Chonier. Wow, Ahmed is back on the pitch. Now, we were hearing from the touchline that Canada were about to replace him. He's going to see if he can run this off, now that that ankle's been taped. So Mauro Biello might wait a little to make these changes now, or at least that particular change, to see whether Ahmed actually shakes this off and can continue. And they had Tajon Buchanan ready to come on for him. So the game's really slowed down finally over the last 10 minutes or so. Can Curaçao get the tempo back up as they hunt an equalizer? It was always going to be so difficult to maintain the kind of pace we saw for the first 55 minutes in these kinds of conditions. Romerito from that deep-lying midfield spot trying to rake it out to the right. Ahmed, it's a good touch from him. 25 minutes to play. Saliba's goal in the 9th, still the difference. Still the only thing separating the sides. It's been a pretty even game statistically as well. Curaçao have done well. Can they do better than that? To the edge of the box it goes. Flicked along near post. Touchdown for Floranis. Backheel into the box and then a moment and a hit and it's in! And Curaçao have done it! The Blue Panthers bite back! Jurgen Locadia stuns Canada! A memorable moment for La Familia Azul in Houston. It's 1-1. Suddenly they burst back to life, Curaçao, and they found the moment of quality that they'd been hunting the whole match. What a backheel pass into the path of Locadia, who took the extra beat. He froze the two defenders. Just a little hesitation move. Was he onside here from the initial phase? That's going to be the question that the VAR room will review. But it's such good play from Floranis. And then they all sit off him here, and he's able to get the strike away, and what a hit with the left foot. Remember, he tried to do that in the first half, to cut it across the face of goal to the far post. He missed in the first half. His aim was true this time. Perfect finish, unstoppable for Dane St. Clair. And the only thing that can stop Curaçao from leveling this is a VAR check. And the view down the line from that initial pass in that sequence was certainly tight. Juan Calderon letting Juninho Bacuna know that this is being checked for a possible offside. Worth the trip for them. And now the question is, will it stand? So they're having a long look at this in the VAR room. Juan Calderon will just be the messenger. Again, Danny on Parchment of Jamaica is the lead VAR today. Benjamin Pineda of Costa Rica, the assistant.
I told him. Okay. Maybe same pitch. Second peak. Either way we make a sub. If there's a goal, we make a sub. Yes. If there's a goal, we make a sub. If there's a foul, we make a sub.
So no official verdict yet. Long, tense wait for both these teams, but especially for Curaçao and for their supporters. Back home, all 200,000 of them on the islands, their diaspora around the world. Here's the decision from Juan Calderon. It is offside. It does not count, and Canada keep their lead. And it came from this moment right here. It's so close, so tight. Talk about fine margins. So cruel on Curaçao. Such a good finish from Locadia. It does not count. Now those changes for Canada. Segur comes off, replaced by Alistair Johnston. Tajon Buchanan comes on. He replaces Ismail Kone instead of Ali Ahmed. Mathieu Chouanier also comes on. Curaçao trying to come again, play his whistle down for a foul against them. And they have to keep their tempers from boiling over now. Juan Calderon's going to show the card to Juninho Bacuna. Well, he did get the elbow up against Joel Waterman, didn't he? Well, here's the official look. There's the official line. It's that left toe of Juan Locadia that apparently was just offside in that initial phase. It's really poor defending from Canada after that. 3 defenders all flew past the ball and all stood around, but again, Locadia was tricky in the way he feinted and juked a couple times and froze them all, and then finished so well, but the toes of his front foot from that initial pass prevent it from counting officially. And so Curaçao have still not scored at the tournament. They have about 20 minutes, including stoppage time, to still rescue something today. Canada have certainly been warned. And when they scored in the 9th minute, you thought they would stroll away right over the horizon and out of sight. Hasn't been the case so far. They still have a chance to double their lead. Roche able to work it along for the goal scorer Saliba, whose ball for Johnston runs through the room. Canada almost were able to win it back dangerously. Curaçao did well to keep it for a moment. Now they lose it. Schaffelberg over the top of that challenge. Nothing given by the referee. Schaffelberg staying down for a while. Challenges just flying in this game. It's part of the edge that Jesse Marsh has brought to this Canadian team as the flag is up for offside. It's not just the aggressive press, it's the aggression in general that Jesse Marsh wants all his teams to play with. We're gonna have a cooling break as we approach the last portion of this second half. So here is that cooling break now with 17 minutes to go. So they have taken Ali Ahmed off in the end. He tried to keep going. Now the ankle fully wrapped in ice. It's turned into such a fascinating game. Curaçao hit early by Saliba's goal. Fought their way off the ropes, have kept fighting ever since. Thought they'd finally landed a counterpunch. Had it taken off the scorecard after review for offside. Canada, if they can hang on to this, it would be 6 points out of 6, and depending on the results of El Salvador, Honduras later tonight, they could clinch not just advancement to the quarterfinals, but top spot in the group as well if El Salvador and Honduras were to draw. That's if Canada win, and as we've seen, that is not certain yet. He'll be really happy with the effort from his team. He's going to send Joshua Zimmerman on in just a second for Kenji Gore. Here it is now, that change. The second change, make it the 3rd of the day for Curaçao. Joshua Zimmerman, another who plays in Holland. It's winger for winger. Oh, Canada pressing. They win it. Jonathan David for Schaffelberg. Schaffelberg end line. Back for David. Final 15 now out of that cooling break. Saliba dispossessed. Here go Curaçao on the run. Breaking down this right side. Have Locadia down the middle and shouts for handball, and it is given now. Free kick, Curaçao. And Kamal Miller is on a yellow. Curaçao hollering for a second yellow. Don't think there's enough in that for a yellow card. Certainly a free kick, though. Curaçao have shown danger from these set pieces when they've had them in this game. Probably should have scored from one in the first half. El Salvador and Honduras coming up on this same field about an hour after the conclusion of this. Some of those fans filing in now. I'm seeing quality ending to what's been a great match. Still very much in the balance. Curaçao trying to equalize, trying to pull off one of the best results in their nation's history. Just a draw would be a memorable result for them. It's skidded in, and it comes all the way to the back post, and it's across the end line. It's a goal kick. So close again for Curaçao. And it was Rashawn van Ima arriving at the back stick and not able to redirect it on goal. He was onside as well. It's good defending. It's goal-saving defending from Zorhan Basong. Watch this challenge right here. Just gets the foot in the way. Keeps himself between the attacker and the goal. Gets the congratulations from Mathieu Chouanier and deserves them. It was a lethal ball in from Juninho Bacuna, who's delivered excellent set pieces on the few opportunities he's had to do that today. Now Canada through the lines. Great ball forward. Oluwaseyi has to check it back. Pulls it back across the face of goal, and it's wonderful defending at the other end now by Sherelle Floranis. He saves a goal as Tajon Buchanan would have had a tap in otherwise. And end-to-end we go in Houston. Curaçao trying to push Canada all the way to the end of these 90 minutes. Tajon Buchanan now with Villarreal, was with Inter Milan. Oh, Schaffelberg tricky again, but it was played off him and out for a goal kick. And Tajon Buchanan, just coming back a few months ago, suffered that leg fracture in the middle of the Copa America tournament last summer. Such a blow for him and for Canada. He's worked his way back. He scored twice against Honduras. And when they scored in the 9th minute today, you thought Canada were gonna win by another crooked number. Curaçao have done so well since. Had the ball in the back of the net in this second half. And it chalked off after a VAR review. Up in the air this goes. Chouanier fighting for it for Canada. Bacuna using his body well, but then he commits the foul at the end of that. Has to be careful, he's on a yellow. He'd done really well up until this point, and then he makes contact with Jonathan David, who had cut in front of him. Well, it is a free kick for Curaçao. I thought that had gone the other way. So apparently a high boot given against Canada. So as we approach the final 10 minutes, another chance for Bacuna then to swing in something dangerous. Goes to the backside this time. The header comes down, hit from the edge of the area, and it bounces all the way up. Big shouts for handball from Curaçao. The VAR room will take a look. Right now, it's a corner. Could it be more than that? That's what Curaçao think. That's what their fans think. Let's see. Well, first of all, are they offside from the delivery? Who makes the first contact? Now, what about the possible handball? They win the first contact here, Curaçao. Comes to the top of the area. It's there on Schaffelberg, potentially. That's what they're shouting about. Was Schaffelberg's arm extended far enough from the side of his body to warrant further review? See the assistant referee on the far side standing in front of the corner to make sure it's not taken. Of course, Curaçao are fine to wait as long as they need to get this checked. No, check complete, on we go. Canada continue to live dangerously. Can Curaçao finally punish them and haul themselves level? Bacuna to take an outswinger. He whips it in. It's not his best this time, but he'll get a second chance at it. Steps inside to the angle. Squared for Floranis. It was behind him, had to take an extra touch. And now he has to retreat with it, and Buchanan is right on him, harassing him and forcing it back. All the way back to Eloy Room. Waits for his teammates to get back on side. And now another free kick for Curaçao. The push against Alistair Johnston. Canada not making life easy on themselves, giving away lots of set pieces in this second half. Both the Honduras and El Salvador fans, of course, in blue. They're showing their solidarity with Curaçao at the moment as they await the nightcap tonight. Juninho Bacuna over yet another free kick. In low, and the flag and the whistle goes up. More shouts for handball. I think the whistle had gone before that. What do we have? Juan Calderon, hands in the air. They certainly care. What happened now? Oh, if that ball was still in play, that sure looks like handball. It's past Oluwaseyi. It's Nathan Saliba. Now his hand is down by his side. The question is, how far away from the body was the arm, and did the whistle go before that contact? Canada continue to look unconvincing defending set pieces. Eloy Room now acting as captain for Curaçao. Leandro Bacuna, their normal captain, subbed off.
What's the debate?
Well, remember in the first half, we heard there was an issue in the stands with a fan blowing a whistle that was confusing the players. And we're being told from pitch side that that's what happened again. So it may not have been referee Juan Calderon who blew that whistle that we thought we heard as well. So I think they're just going to play a drop ball here.
Another whistle, yeah, another whistle.
It's potentially another let-off for Canada, really, because Nathan Saliba could have been in trouble for that potential handball. It would have been close. Well, VAR is checking this now, so it still could be a handball after all. I wasn't sure if the play had been judged to have already stopped before that potential incident. So we do have an official VAR check for a possible handball. No penalty confirmed. So check was quickly completed. Now into the box it goes. Goalkeeper out. Sinclair missed it, but it's being waved off. Juan Calderon blows the whistle again, raises the arm. Curaçao again with the ball in the back of the net. Dane St. Clair bailed out this time. It's still 1-0. Were they offside here? Yes. Pretty clear. Rashawn Van Ima and the assistant referee's flag did go up. It's not a good moment for Dane St. Clair, who totally misses that. Well, Curaçao will feel that they're snake bitten, but when they see the replay of that, I don't think they'll be able to have many complaints, that time at least. Late change as they send on Castanier and take off Gari. Gervain Castanier started the number 9 position against El Salvador. So now they have 2 strikers on the pitch for the last minute since they have to go for this. Canada trying to see this over the line, increasingly unconvincingly. Free kick Curaçao, Tejan Buchanan in the middle of that, as was Oluwaseyi. Comenencia, the player who took the brunt of that. There's Oluwaseyi right there. Long ball forward from Curaçao. They win the first contact. They win the second ball. It's going to roll through for St. Clair, though. Jeremy Antonisa not able to hustle onto the end of it. St. Clair as far as he can. Oh, long ball punted forward. And there's trouble here for Canada, but there goes the whistle. It's off the post. It wouldn't have counted anyway. Gervain Castanier just on the pitch. A shove in the back on Joel Waterman. Castanier plays club football in Indonesia, formerly of Coventry City. It's really not a great foul from him because he had Waterman in some difficulty. And it was far enough away from the box that Dane St. Clair couldn't come out for it either. Could have just maintained that physical presence without the clear shove. He might have had something there. Canada about to make their last 2 changes. Luc de Fougerolles and Kyle Laren appear set to come on. It's going to be Laren on for Jacob Schaffelberg. Laren is Canada's 2nd all-time leading goal scorer. Born to Jamaican parents in Ontario. Plays for Mallorca in Spain. Schaffelberg, a hard-working 89 minutes. It's the Mallorcan maestro on for the Maritime Messi with a minute of the 90 remaining. Curaçao still trying to land something in these final moments. We should have a healthy amount of stoppage time. We had the cooling break, of course. In fact, we're being told there will be 9 additional minutes. 9. Oh, and it's given away, and it's off the outside of the goal, and what a let-off for Curaçao and for Eloy Room. Tani Oluwaseyi almost put it into an open net after he closed down Room. And that could have been the game for Canada. Room just takes too long and then dribbles it right into Oluwaseyi's path. And Curaçao so fortunate this time that this deflects wide. Not really much chance for Oluwaseyi to try to steer this anywhere. He was probably shocked that it was just handed right to him that way. Angle was a bit against him by the time it was. So we're into those 9 additional minutes. Now, on such a hot day, it's still quite a distance for Canada to navigate. They've led since the 9th minute. And Nathan Saliba goal. You would have expected a lot more to follow from Les Rouges after that one went in. Has not for Mauro Biello and for Jesse Marsh watching from up above. This is a Curaçao free kick. Canada now in grinded out mode. Curaçao trying to create at least one more opportunity. They've had the ball in the net twice in this second half, both times chalked off for offside. There's also a penalty shout that was reviewed. Still a large amount of stoppage time remaining. Cushioned down by Alistair Johnston for Saliba. Now Jonathan David scuffs it out for Tajon Buchanan. Buchanan, fast and tricky on the wing. Tries to hustle around the corner. It's an excellent tackle. Antonisa stood him up, but Buchanan's back on it now. Alistair Johnston toward Jonathan David, who was in all kinds of space, but Johnston couldn't find him. Ooh, Eloy Room, did he just run outside the 18-yard box with the ball? He was in that halo area just outside the 18. I don't think he quite knew exactly where he was. Play continues here. Curaçao player was down for a second. That was Locadia. They go on down the right side with Zimmerman. Thumped into the area. 3 in blue there. It's chested down, but it's whistled down. Another foul given against Gervain Castanier. There was no offside there, but maybe a little push. Oh, handball against Castanier. That had to be what was given. Ricocheted up off the underside of the arm. Here is Eloy Room. Trying to be casual about it. Chouanier trying to protect it. Castanier using his body. Johnston came off his shoulder. It's threaded through. They could be in here, Curaçao. They are in. They've scored. And this one will count. It's a historic moment for Curaçao. Jeremy Antonisa in stoppage time. A blue Curaçao shot right to Canada's gut. 1-1. They kept going. They fought themselves off the early ropes. They stayed in the fight. They gave themselves a chance. They thought they'd equalize twice. They finally do, deep into stoppage time. And it came from this. Bouncing ball, loose ball. Canada never could claim it, never could get it under command. Castanier used his body. Johnston had it come off his shoulder, and suddenly they were through. And Antonisa finished beautifully. Bounced it past St. Clair. It came off the defender, actually, sliding in. Turned into a perfect deflection. Came off Zorhan Basong, who was trying to make the block as he slid in. And Antonisa had it carried over St. Clair. Curaçao celebrate. The whole island will celebrate. And there's still at least 4 minutes to play.
Hey, 17, inside behind you.
His third goal for the national side. Now, can Canada pick themselves off the floor and still find a late winner? They still have time to do that. Still have at least 3 minutes plus of stoppage time, and probably more beyond that. Remember, there was an injury right when stoppage time began. We just had the long goal celebration. So there's still time for either of these sides to grab a winner. Eloy Room under pressure. Here's where Canada have been vulnerable. Those long balls, they're not comfortable with those. Chouanier. Oh, and miscommunication as it's behind Basong. Would have never guessed that this was how this game was going to go when Canada took the lead in the 9th minute. And for the next few minutes after that, they were on top. They were hunting that second goal. They'd scored 6, remember, against Honduras in their opener just a few days ago. I thought they might do it again today. Not at all. Curaçao. Remember, their head coach, Dick Advocat, said in his pre-match interview, today we're going to figure out how far we've come. The answer's pretty clear. They've come a long, long way. They're still not there yet today. In fact, they have an attacking free kick with 2 minutes to go. And it's floated toward the top of the 18. Castanier wins it, and out comes St. Clair, shouts for a penalty. Was there a shove on Locadia? Probably not enough of one. Canada continue to struggle with these long, angled, bouncing balls. Kamal Miller got his body in the way. Curaçao throw. This would not be a fatal draw for Canada, of course. They'd be on 4 points. They'd still be on top of the group with their strong goal differential. Even if either El Salvador or Honduras win. This ball is through. Kyle Larin is in. Kyle Larin puts it straight at Eloy Room. Oh, their second all-time leading goal scorer, and suddenly he was through. And it's a tame finish for a player of his caliber. And Eloy Room, so grateful. And so are Curaçao. And we're into the final minute of stoppage time. And Curaçao have it at the other end. The goal scorer, Antonisa, up against 2, cuts around the edge, tries to whip in the cross. It was blocked. Boy, and he had 2 waiting for it in the area. Now Canada, it's so wide open. It's anyone's game in the final minute. Challenge from behind, foul given, free kick given to Canada. Referee lets it go on, and it's played quickly. And there's lots of space for now for Basong. He chooses to check up with it. Chouanier. Drama right till the end in Houston. Saliba. Curaçao back now, trying to hold out for a precious, historic point. Wide it goes for Johnston. Top of the area, Jonathan David threads it through. Tajon Buchanan onto his right, deflected for Eloy Room, who falls on top of it, and Curaçao can breathe. Oh, he was in for just a second, Buchanan. It's over. It's a historic point for Curaçao. Such an impressive point for Curaçao. And a disappointing one for Canada, even though it leaves them still in a strong spot to move on. But for La Familia Azul, after a frustrating draw with El Salvador, this is a draw that their fans and the entire nation of 200,000 back home and those abroad will celebrate and remember. It's a night when Curaçao reminded the football world, we're not just here to participate, we can compete with the big boys. They did just that this evening as it finishes in Houston stunningly. Canada won, Curaçao won.
Here we go. 3-2. Jonathan, you expected the heat. You expected Curaçao's physicality. But how disappointing is this result, especially when you consider that second half?
Yeah, of course it's disappointing, especially taking a goal in the last minutes of the game. Of course, I think we had warnings just to tell us to be a bit more careful, but they kept pushing and they got the equalizer. So obviously it's frustrating to get a tie like that, but you know we have to keep moving forward.
Talk about warnings, let's talk about lessons. This game against El Salvador now takes on a bigger significance. So what kind of lessons do you guys need to implement in a couple days?
Well, to be better defensively, to leave less gaps in our block, to be more compact, to win more second balls, and to be more efficient.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Jeremy, player of the match. Your goal keeps Curaçao in the content.
Yes, I'm really happy. I thank God for this moment, and yeah, I'm just happy.
What does it feel to be the player of the match? That goal in the last minute, who keeps alive Curaçao?
I don't have words for the feeling. I'm just happy, and once again, I thank God.
Curaçao keep pushing to the end. What is the word that the coach told to the team, to you, to keep pushing to the end?
I think it's just between the group. We are really a family, and we play with our heart. So I think this is where the war is coming from.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Ready?
We're a family, says Jeremy Antonisa. They are La Familia Azul, indeed. They had to stick together today, falling behind so early. They are able to pull Canada back and hold them to a point. 6 shots each. See how even this game truly was. This wasn't a fluke. It wasn't like Curaçao just defended in a low block the whole game and got fortunate late on. They were in this all the way. And they could have been level a few times before they actually were. Possession ends up just 52 to 48%. By just about every metric, Curaçao hung right with Canada and got their reward in the end. It is a precious point for them. We'll see our highlights in just a moment. Well, what an evening it turned into in Houston, with another game still to come, of course, but Curaçao and Canada expected to win this comfortably. And as they lined up pre-match in high heat and humidity and still in the direct sun, you knew the conditions would be challenging. You didn't think it would be this challenging for Canada, especially after this opening goal in the 9th minute. An excellent goal from Nathan Saliba. Such a sweet finish. And such good technique on the full volley, has to wait for this to come down out of the sunshine, navigate a teammate who was rushing out at him initially. It's such a good goal, his second goal in Canadian colors. Curaçao, though, started to punch right back, and that free kick could have resulted in the equalizer. As Bakuna getting up for it, it's such a good save from Dane St. Clair. Canada, though, pressed for that second goal. They should have had it here, perhaps. Tani Oluwaseyi, it's such a good save from Eloy Room, and such a critical one, especially when you look back on it now. This was nearly 2-0 inside 20 minutes. Instead, it stayed just the one, and Curaçao continued to hunt for one themselves, and they had a chance here late in the first half as it was sent wide by Jurgen Lokanian. In the second half, Curaçao causing issues again. This was a great tackle at the near post by Zorhan Basong to prevent a tap-in by Rayshawn Van Ima. And then Curaçao finally got the leveler in the 4th minute of stoppage time. The substitute, Jeremy Antamisa, got behind the back line, finished off the deflection from Zorhan Basong. The celebration from all of Curaçao, the players, coaches, everyone on the island, everyone around the world who has a connection to this nation. Historic moment, historic point for La Familia Azul. 1-1 it finishes in Houston. Stay tuned for our second match of our doubleheader between Honduras and El Salvador. Should be a great one for our entire great crew as we look at the updated standings in Group B. Canada on top with 4 points, but they'll feel it should be 6. That keeps this group wide open. So much drama still to come. Again, for our great crew, I'm Donnie Barnes. Good night for now from Houston.